What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, and today I'm gonna do a special sort of revisit review on an album that, at the time when it came out, I thought it was great. I thought it was good, but I haven't listened to it in a minute, so I went back and listened to it, and I wanted to, just to see if it still lived up to it, because we're approaching. By the time I release this, it'll be its 5th anniversary. So I wanted to see if it still held up to my standards that I thought. So without further ado, today I'm going to be reviewing Kendrick Lamar, Damn. Nobody pray for me. To me, Damn is, how can I put this? I think Damn is Kendrick Lamar's safest album. I think it's the Kendrick Lamar album that's easier to grasp by anyone. And it only makes sense, right? He's coming off his debut album that was great. He gives us To Pimp a Butterfly, which is just out of this world, and it's very conscious, and it's very different. Like, it has jazz influence. It has this underlying black theme to it. It just takes a lot more to digest than Damn. So it only made sense that he dropped the album like this after, just to kind of hit the reset button and not, I can still do what you so-called quote-unquote rappers do. I can get on the Mike Will beats. I can Don't Forget Who I Am. You know what I mean? He had some of his biggest records on this album. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. I forgot I had this. I can't find the case to it, but I still got my CD. I still got my CD. There's no scratches on it. Still got my CD. I bought all Kendrick Lamar CDs I bought all his albums on CDs, from Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly to Damn. I have all of them on CD somewhere around my house. I just remember I had that, so I ran and grabbed that real fast. 14 songs on here, including a skit. Kid Capri is kind of like the interwoven narrator for the album. I thought it was dope that he went and got Kid Capri just to show paying homage in a way. I thought that was pretty cool. Rihanna's on here. U2's on here. So let's get into it. I'm just going to go through a couple records, talk about some standout tracks, some tracks that I think were really good, some tracks I thought was, I could live without, and, just get my review at the end. So let's go. The album starts with, blood, and it's there's a wickedness, and he tells a story about how he seen the homeless woman and a blind woman and things of that nature, and she said, oh yeah, you have lost something, you lost your life, and pow. Then it goes into the news people talking about we gonna be all right, and you know how news anchors are with hip hop, they always make it out to be this just this negative thing. So I love that he put that in there, because out of all people you're going to pick on is Kendrick Lamar. That doesn't make any sense. First official song is DNA, which I love. I love that Mike Will beat. I love the way he attacked it. I love the way that in the middle of the song he just spazzes with the Rick James sample, gimme, 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 gimme. And I heard he kept going going a cappella in the booth, and Mike Will made that second half of the beat around his verse, which is why it's probably so good. It has that, the production around it, especially with that gimme, 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 gimme. I just thought that was a dope, one of my favorite records on here. I love Don Cheadle in the video to commemorate Kung Fu Kenny from Rush Hour 2. That's even more dope. I loved all the videos he had off this album. But dope introduction, just a smack in your face, I'm back, bitches. I just love that shit. One of my favorite, it's probably my favorite Kendrick Lamar intro. I love Shireen too, but this probably is, this is probably my favorite Kendrick Lamar intro. Great way to start the album. Smooth tempo kind of record, kind of a reflection kind of record of where he is now. He talks about his cousin Carl and God, and my girl said, don't let these bitches go to my head. And I just love I like that song. It's not one of my favorites on here, but it's a cool record. That's pretty much what I can say. It's one of those records that sometimes I skip it and sometimes I'll listen to it. It's one of those records. That goes into Element, which is probably one of my favorites on here. I just love that whole. I love that whole record. I love the hook. If I gotta slap a pussy ass nigga, I'ma make it look sexy. I love that shit. Like I love everything about it. I love the Kid Capri intro on there. One of my favorite lines is from that song. I love the flip. I'm allergic to a bitch nigga, A. An imaginary rich nigga, A. 7 figures, hold it slimmer than my bitch figure, A. Going physical and digital on all y'all. Bunch of criminals and money's in my call log. Me okay, we let the A1 fly. Relocate, jump on the same G5. I love that fucking verse. Phil's is one of those. Is one of the probably one of the he has a lot of personal tracks, but just to feel like nobody's praying for me, I thought that was just he got so much off his chest in that record that it's just so personal, and the beat is dope. It's just a great record. It's one of those records that remind you why Kendrick Lamar is Kendrick Lamar. Like the way that he could paint a story, the way he could tell you about his life. And he's not like this over braggadocious rapper. He's vulnerable. He could tell you about like, I feel like the crew has been faking. Like, you know, he could tell you all those things, and at the end of it, he's like, but ain't nobody praying for me. Like, man, that had to be crazy because he's coming off the Pimp a Butterfly. And like he said in Element, like last LP, I tried to lift the black artists, but it's a difference between black artists and whack artists. Like, I tried to give y'all the pro black shit. I tried to save the hood. I tried that, but ain't nobody praying for me. You know what I mean? This album is like, to me, is the not total opposite of To Pimp a Butterfly, but it's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, fuck it. I tried. Now I'm just going to go back to slaughtering y'all niggas. Like, that's what I felt when I heard this album. Loyalty, which is probably, to me, it's one of his most commercial records, singles that he's ever had. Cool record. I know what that record is for. I love the Rihanna feature on it, but I know what that record is for. Cool record. It's not one of the ones that I obviously, because it was a single, it kind of like overplayed, and I don't like when I listen to the album, like, I heard Loyalty a lot. I don't need to listen to that again. Like, it's one of those records, and I don't usually get that with Kendrick Lamar records, if that makes sense. I can't be the only one who felt that. Pride, great record. That's another one that's very personal. Like, I feel like this album again, I feel like he got very personal with his, I mean, he was personal to Pimp Butterfly too. If you hear records like, what's the one where he's screaming? It comes right before All Right. I think it's you. But they even have the prize is gonna be the death of you and me. Like, to have that, and in a perfect world, I'll be perfect world, or like the way he does he kind of brought back the Kendrick Lamar thing with the vocal effects, and he's in and out. It's mixed very well. That one's a tough listen to for me. Not like in a bad way, just like it reminds me of like Sing About Me is my favorite record on Good Kid, Mad City, but it's hard for me to listen to that record because it gives me all the emotions and feels, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I get from Pride. To go into Humble, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, this sounds like a Gucci Mane beat. And then I found out Mike Will made it, and I was like, well, that makes sense. But to me, that song sounds like a Gucci Mane beat. It's probably his biggest single to date. Great video. But it's another one that I listened to, and, you know, it's kind of a skippable because it was played so many times, if that makes sense. But that doesn't take anything away of how great the record is, you know. Lust, I don't really like Lust. I get it, though. It kind of reminds me, his vocals on there remind me of Anderson .Paak. Like, I feel like he was doing his best Anderson .Paak impersonation on the hook. But that's just me. You can go ahead and shoot me down if you want. Love, probably my favorite on here. Give me a run for my money. I just love that record. Like, I love everything about that record. I love Love. I love everything about that record. I love the video. That's one of the singles on here that I do go back and listen to. Love is really great. Triple X featuring U2 is just something I wasn't expecting, especially a U2 feature on it. I love it because, you know, he goes through the first verse. Well, the first verse is kind of like a spoken word. Johnny don't want to go to school no more. Lil Johnny said books ain't cool no more. And, you know, he goes into like this, wow, like this outrageous kind of record. And he's talking to a friend, and, you know, the friend kid just got murdered, and he calling K-Dot to get, you know, some, you know, I know you've been anointed, tell me what I should do kind of thing. And in the return, Kendrick Lamar's like, shit, you know what? If somebody killed my fucking son, I'd show up, I'd wait up after Sunday service if I had to. Like, I can't really tell you not to do what I think you're gonna do, because I would have did the same thing. Let anybody touch my mother, somebody touch my sister, touch my cousin, touch anyone around me, and I'm liable to have that killer reaction. And then at the end, he was like, I chip a nigga, then throw the blow in his lap, walk myself to the court like, bitch, I did that. And then he goes into, but I'm about to speak at this convention, call you back. And then he goes and says, now kids, I want to talk about gun violence. It's one of those things that always makes me chuckle, because it's so creative and it's just so fucking funny. Like, he just got off the phone like, yeah, I fucking murdered him too. And then I'm gonna call you back about this piece of this convention. Yeah, so let me talk about gun violence, kids. It's great. I really love that part. Fear is one of those records. Again, it's very personal. You can hear him talking about fear of losing it all. Fear at all stages of life. So it's like, I think it's like every 10 years or something like that. He feared his mom. He feared God. He feared being broke. He feared everything. I thought he's a very great songwriter. Like that, those records like that, it shows you how great of a songwriter he is, and song structure and just topics, how great Kendrick Lamar is and why he is one of the greats. You know what I mean? Love that record. God, cool record too. It's not one of the ones I listen to constantly, but it's a good record. Now, Duckworth, the way he ended the album, and, you know, told the story about Top Dog and his dad, and how, you know, 6 degrees of separation, and then Top Dog could have killed his dad, but like years later, who knew that he would sign his son and be like the biggest artist on his record company? You know what I mean? And just, if things wouldn't have happened the way that they happened, how different life would be, and how crazy that they happened the way they happened, and see how life is. It's a very like great written song. And then he spins the record back at the end and goes back to the beginning of the album. So the album is like, he's just a master at putting great albums together. Just the stories of the album, like, because, you know, I would say like the re-release was released when it was flipped, so you can listen to the album from Duckworth down to Blood, and it'll still have a constant theme to it. Like, you could play the album front to back and reverse to front, and you will still get the same concept. I thought that's fucking amazing. Like, just to think of that is fucking amazing. Fucking amazing, bro. Let me get into my best songs. I'm gonna go with Element, Love, and DNA. With Fear is fourth, if I could put it in there. Worst song, I'm gonna go with Bless. It's just not one of the ones that I think I could live my life without that record. Like, I don't really need that record. Best line, he says, 100K spread cost the flow, yeah. None of them fucking with the flow, yeah. Years in the making, yeah. Don't y'all mistake it. I got him by a landslide. We talking about races. You know, it's never be a tie. Just look at they laces. I always thought that line was just so fucking dope. It'll never be a tie. Just look at they laces. You know, careers take off. Just gotta be patient. Mr. 1 through 5. That's the only logic. Fake my death. Go to Cuba. That's the only option. On some Tupac shit. Fucking dope. If I had to rate it, fucks given for this album in retrospect, I give it a 4 out of 5. I give it a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's a classic album. This is me. I think it's a great album. I do. I really do think it's a great album, but it's just not, I don't know, it ain't classic to me. Like, I like To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City, Section 80, and this is just, it's great. It's a great body of work. Still great. Like, he didn't make a fall or anything. It's just not classic to me. But that's just my opinion. Let's wrap this shit up, though. In conclusion, Kendrick Lamar, Damn. Again, great record. Happy 5th anniversary. Can't believe it's been 5 years. Where the fuck is Kendrick? Like, where the fuck is the album, Kendrick? We need more Kendrick. Where is Kendrick? That's how I should just leave this. Where is Kendrick? But still a great album. I appreciated it. Like, again, I still got my CD of Damn, and it still holds up. Like, it's not one of those records that you go back to and be like, this was just trash. What was I thinking back then? It still held up for the most part, except for the records that I mentioned that I just can't listen to anymore. And that's all you can really ask for in an artist. Like, just continue to put out great bodies of work and still make me proud as a listener to want to even listen to your body of work. Because some rappers that, you know, that were great at one point, I don't even listen to most of their albums anymore. And I'm not going to say any names, but you know who those artists are. So listening back to it again, I'm listening like, where the fuck is Kendrick? Like you listen to songs like DNA and it's like this guy's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. As always though, fuck this review. I'm Tatum. Peace.